right, y'all, we're going to do something today called Troubleshooting 101. Y'all, every now and then we have to get involved with class participation so that we truly understand if the assembly is on one accord with everybody, with the teaching, so to speak. A lot of times we have set topics for the class that's being taught, but on occasion we'll do this so we can get some seeing and receiving going to make sure everybody's understanding. Because everything is lawful, but it's not expedient all the time. Some people don't catch up with it for a minute. Sometimes things happen in your life that makes it more expedient for you to understand the law, but know that everything must be measured and judged by the rules, which are the law, statutes, judgments, and commandments. And each one of them, if you break it, it has a punishment listed for us so that you will be without excuse to say, I didn't understand. But a lot of times, you know, we get into trivial things because of social media. Social media is kind of running things a little bit faster than they should be going. Meaning that everybody got a song. Everybody got a doctrine. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what starts to happen. That you see so many things coming out there that you start to wonder, okay, is this right? Or, you know, and then with the half Hebrews out there that's teaching part of the Bible is tampered with. You always going to have problems like that. If you're starting out the gate like that, how is it going to be easy or understandable to trust any of it? What part does a man that make those statements realize or recognize that he's either saying, I only know the ones that haven't been, so I'm an expert in this, and why we put that version in production yet?
That's right.
Ain't no need us keep spinning our wheels, is it? Because that's what's going to happen. So we'll start off with 3 topics. You know, and y'all, let's try to get the ones y'all been out there, like I'm saying, on social media, things that's hitting back and forth that we may need a little clarity to. And if it's one out there that we have a class already on this, we're going to point you toward that. That way you can sit down one-on-one, it's still class participation, and you'll understand what's going on. Because every class out there is listed, you know, and what you may be trying to understand or get some understanding is already out there. So, anybody just raise your hand, anything on your heart, mind, or soul, y'all, this is Bible study. So what that means is this is a classroom setting. We'll raise our hand one at a time so we don't talk over each other. And if you had something, but this one person was getting on it, said, okay, that's what I was thinking, then you don't have to worry about that. But if we name one and somebody name another one, if we can cover it in that topic, we'll do it all together on that. Because they'll tie in. So, you know, any questions out there? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, one of my questions was,
okay.
When I first came to the line, was my understanding. And I've seen the class talk was really lengthy and tremendous, but to my understanding, the devil had a sexual relationship with Eve.
We're going to get into that, and we're going to break some things down concerning spiritual fornication first, because it was always that first. Satan is never attacked with, you know, so to speak, just coming physically first, because that's nothing. That's just like going by a shake joint and do your business and get back. No, what Satan wants first is complete worship and bowing to him. To understand that, because he's not trying to imitate Christ, he's trying to imitate the Father. Because he has Christ to bow to him. He don't want to be co-heirs with the Messiah. He wants to elevate. So, the Garden of Eden, anything in particular, okay, you said the fornication that took place. Okay?
Was it physical, was it spiritual, was it both?
We're going to get right into it so you can understand it clearly. We're going to use the words, we're going to bring up a few Hebrew words, so y'all go ahead and grab text for me in the Hebrew. Anybody else out there? Let's take another one before we get into that. What you got, Tom?
I keep running into people saying, like, if you say all praises to the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, they're like, it's Jesus. And it's like, so you're saying skip everybody else? Yeah, skip everybody else. It's Jesus.
So that's just what we call misunderstanding of name. And that's what it is. So we'll say the holy name, because that's what they're basically saying. So we'll cover that, and we can cover those real quick. What you got, John?
I'm not going to bang down the trenches on the Muslims.
Right.
I'm telling them that you don't supposed to be worshiping the moon in the stars.
Right.
And they saying they don't worship the moon in the stars. But I'm telling them, well, what you're doing, you don't understand what worshiping is. Maybe if you bag up, I'm always telling them that, bag up and find out what worship is. You worship, you don't even know. So can we get on some info on how you can prove that what worship is? You know,
Okay, we're definitely doing what worship is. Very good topic, y'all. So we'll roll with these three for now.
before you go any further,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, also the Muslims, they don't believe in the Messiah. They don't believe in the birth. They believe that there's some natural fornication going on. You know, like she went to somebody's shack and had sex with somebody. They believe in all the other miracles in the Bible, but other miracles in the Bible, they don't believe in that particular miracle. Yahshua was born by HONORANDHUMILITYSTL. And then another thing, I tell them, number 3, you worshiping y'all idol worship, walking around the rock. They do that as well. They worship, they walk around the rock, which is considered idol worship. So that's 3 cuts right there.
Right.
Okay. And see, go ahead, brother. You want to say something? No, I want to hit that when we get into that Genesis. So I just want you to line that up with it. Okay, so y'all, we're going to get right to the first topic at hand. And that's the Garden of Eden. Brother had a question. What really took place? Yeah, we're going to hit all that. Superheatation. We're going to start off, y'all, in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 26. And this is just very important of what we're going over when it says everyone has a psalm. Y'all look, when you're going against people, everybody got a psalm and everybody got a doctrine. You have to get back down to what the truth is. And basically, they have to see it. You know, once you present it, then what you're looking for is seeing if the scales are removing from their eyelids. Right. And you should notice some things because their head will start bobbing and you'll see the wattage starting to go up. They may be on a 25-watt bulb. You say, okay, I got them at 40 now. Oh, I'm going to put them at 60% now. Next, we're going to be having, this going to light the basement up. And then you're going up till you get them to a 100-watt bulb, and when you see it on, you know that I'm on the right path with this job. It's being receptive. But if they kind of standing like that, you understand, you still don't get it. And if you find yourself in that position, you're trying to force the issue. And they can't get it because what you're doing now is like giving a baby a piece of steak. And you know it can't chew, ain't got no teeth. Or just the 2 front ones right here at the bottom.
What's that word you're looking for again?
Superfetation. It should be in the website. It ain't gonna be in there. Okay, let's get that 1 Corinthians 14, 26, y'all. And this is say when we come together. Y'all, there's things we must stay in one accord with.
All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 26. Everybody there?
Yes, sir.
How is it then, brother, when ye come together, every one of you have a song?
What everyone have?
A song.
See, so everybody got something they want to talk about. Why is it when we come together it's like this? You know, if you find yourself in these situations, That's why a lot of times when we talk about teaching classes, if you don't have a topic, you're going to run into this every time. And sometimes it can get ugly. Sometimes it can go smooth if you got level heads in the game. But if you leave it wide open for everybody to have a psalm or doctrine, you're going to hear everything. And guess who's going to be in that immediate circle? Your brethren of the assembly. And then y'all going to walk. And it's going to get ugly. Read that again, brother.
How is it then, brother, when ye come together, every one of you have a psalm, having a doctrine?
Have a what?
A doctrine.
See, everyone has a psalm and have a doctrine. Well, I'm hearing it like this, so man, y'all heard these certain things. Look, when we say have you heard, or we can tell if you having itchy ears. It's the way you're asking the question. Man, this a group was saying something, man, and that just didn't sit well with me. That's what you start to say, okay, that bothered you then, that ruffled your spirit, so to speak. That's what we're looking for so that we can put correction on it. But if it sounds like you kind of standing back, I'm going to see how you answer this, then basically you waiting to see what side I'm going to be on.
Right, exactly.
You know, so you basically saying, I'm going to see if some winning is here. But if you're a teacher, you got to make sure that you're prepped for that. And that's ready to study the answer based off of how, because it's a send and receive process. You put it out there, they receive it, and then they send it back. What you're looking for is to send back to determine where everybody's thought process is at. Then we can move forward with the teaching. Go ahead, bro, read that again.
Every one of you have a psalm,
right?
Have a doctrine, have a tongue, having a revelation, having an interpretation. Let all things be done unto edify. If any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two or at the most by three.
Read that over. Read that again, brother.
27. If any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or at the most by three, or that by course, and that by course, and let one interpret.
And let one do what?
And let one interpret. But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silent.
Let who keep silent?
Let him keep silent in the church.
Right.
And let him speak to himself and to God.
See, like a lot of times we read this, we'll jump down to where a woman is supposed to keep silent in the church. But right here, we see it say keep silent. Let him. So it's talking about a brother that may speak in tongues. If it ain't an interpreter there, at least by two. And let one interpret. If it ain't there, let him keep silent in the church. Right. So in this same Corinthians, when we talk about silence in the assembly, we talking about know the order. Right. And when it gets to a woman, it's saying don't jump out of order in front of your man. And let everybody else see and it's looking like, you know, hey, what's going on with this household? This seems to be out of order. So in like manner, we can't jump out of order against the Messiah. Right. Especially coming with strange doctrine and a psalm and different things of that nature, y'all. We have to stay in order. Any way y'all want to say, sister? So, go ahead, bro. Yeah, y'all looking at the new chairs. Nice and comfy for y'all.
This ain't where we was at last week.
Right. Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
Verse 30. If anything be revealed to another,
read verse 20.
Verse 29. Verse 29. Let the prophet speak 2 or 3, and let the other judge.
Y'all see how it keeps it from being a private interpretation if it's done decently and in order? You always going, that's why he sent them out by 2. And the Holy Spirit would interpret. You know, so they went out minimum of 2. That's what churches actually is where there's 2 or more gathered. There I am in the midst of them. That's church. And then the numbers build after that. But at least the minimum would have to be 2. And that's with his laws, statutes, and judgments so that you don't misinterpret the law. One scripture, you go to the law with just one. It has a mate that paints the same exact picture. I'm not talking about you can find 2 that say fornication. They have to paint the same picture for the subject just happening. like killing. When it says thou shalt not kill, thou shalt never kill. But then Ecclesiastes say there's a time to kill. That's war time. That's order time for the Messiah to go in there and wipe everything out. I'm going to wipe everything out. But then there's this other form of killing called shedding of innocent blood, which is murder. You can never do that killing under no circumstances. That's a felony sin to shed innocent blood. So, y'all, when we see something, it has to paint the same picture of two witnesses of what the subject is talking about. Because all you have to do is just Google fornication in the Bible. Ooh, there two right there. And they totally left field from the subject at hand. Right. Go ahead, brother.
We in 1 Corinthians 14, verse 30. If anything be revealed to another that sitteth by, let the first hold his peace.
Let the first
hold his peace. For ye may all prophesy one by one, that all may learn, and all may be comforted.
So if you already see this coming, don't overtalk. You know what's going on. Sometimes you hear somebody there start reading the scripture before you get to it. You know. Letting everybody else, yeah, I know that, y'all. I'm sure I do that too. Right. So they're reading, but basically that's disruption. Right. You know, if you got somebody reading, he say, hold your peace or silent. Let him get that off let the other one know. Why you trying, is this for edification purposes? Or you trying to edify, or you just trying to show, I know that too.
Show off.
Yeah, show off. Where you at?
Verse 32.
Okay.
And the spirits of prophets are subject to the prophet.
Right.
For God is not the author of confusion.
He's not the author of what?
Confusion.
So that's another thing to look for. If it's confusing, whoever talking to you or you're talking to them, if they look like they're confused, it's a problem. If you're hearing something that's confusing, like the Sunday doctrine may teach the law is done away with, and in the same breath say you must pay tithes, or mention the word sin out of their mouth. So there's confusion. They're not understanding Paul right. They want to overlook what he's saying right there. You know, and actually have conflict within the Holy Scripture. There's no confusion. He's not the author of confusion. When he wrote this, he didn't pen in, yeah, I'm dealing with this one right here. Yeah, this may be the trick question. Trick question 101. Yes, my servant's going to be having to strive and they're going to be struggling. No, he's not the author of that type of foolishness. When he laid it out, it was laid out for you to get it, to understand it for the rest of your life. It's a lifelong course. It's called the Book of Life. As you grow older, wisdom happens to you. More mysteries unlock as you age. So you don't be young and think you can put it on the shelf. You're going to always need this shield. Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
Verse 33. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints.
All churches of the saints. Not some of them. All of them. And when we're talking about peace, what we're talking about, we're not talking about we ain't looking for war. Solomon was at peacetime, but how many soldiers was around his bed with swords? 60 valiant men standing like this, and we at peacetime. So what it's saying is, be on your guard, but you got to live in peace, y'all. We already got enough drama. How you gonna have all of this extra drama tied on to you too as well? Warring with your brother or sister, individuals in conflict and confusion. And the main thing is about not understanding, y'all. So when we tell everybody to send us something, move on. Our classes are out on the net. Honor and Humility, STL, God's Warrior 298. We got Mr. Hebrew 1. So those are our primary sites. Now we got brothers that's got their own personal pages and things. But what happened is, all they have said, bro, I need to put this on the site. Bro's gonna need to see this. It has to match up with the assembly teaching so that there's no confusion in the churches. We don't care about what's going on out there. If you bring your video to our site and it's causing clashing with what's already posted online, then you ain't looked at that, and the person that agreed what that was not paying attention. And we'll have confusion that way. Just because you may see somebody down here, we have to check the record. It's a proven fact. It's not pointing fingers at anybody. It's a proven fact even with the Messiah. He would have to ask all the time, are you too without understanding? Who y'all think he was talking to? You can hold that, bro. Oh, go on down to 38. Go down to 38.
Verse 34.
Yeah.
Let your women keep silence in the churches.
Right.
For it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also said in the law.
So right here, this is the problem. People run with this and don't never quote the law that this is coming from, or how to be obedient. When you read that, there's Numbers 30, 1 Corinthians 11, that's the line. Proverbs 31, a virtuous woman. So all of these are the prerequisites of this law, other than shut your damn mouth. You see what it's saying. Shut up! And then you put them in charge of the children, because they have to rear the children while you go get the money. Right? So when they come home, what y'all learn today? Shh. What else? Shh. That's all they're going to learn, because that's the only thing that's being promoted. Shut the hell up. Right. So what are they going to be able to learn or to teach anybody? But shut the hell up. Right. What else you going to learn? I mean, what is it if you're saying that I teach you, but they don't know nothing but shut the hell up and duck? Read some more.
Verse 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands and wives.
Right.
For it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church.
And see, this is what we're talking about, because the questions may be asked y'all because it's a marriage thing. What Paul is stating here in the church, we're not going to get into it, y'all going to air y'all dirty laundry in front of the congregation. So, to prevent that, women, if it's personal and your husband is here, he's got to get that permission so we don't get outside the box on these questions. Because she could be saying something. So let me just ask one thing. Is it okay for a man to and be looking at him? Then have it happen. You know, and the man is silent now. Because now I will have to answer this. But if we hear that, we always look to the man first. If he nods, yes, you can ask that, because it's Numbers 30. When you read all of the Numbers 30, you'll understand the head of the household. And it says he can avow or disavow, allow or disavow any vow or saying. But it's under his control. So if he say she can speak, he do this, she can speak. But the single women, how does this play for them?
Right.
Where their husband at home. So how they gonna learn? How will they learn? That's the question. How do they learn? They learn from the Messiah, because he's their head. So that's how they learn, but they got to keep that order. They watching it and looking y'all. And once we keep order, we never have any confusion. But when we get out of order and let things get out, somebody may want to hear something they ought not be hearing. Some tail burn. Right. And allow it to go. And then we try to put Matthew 18 on top of that to correct it. You're out of line already. We can't correct after we've been out of line. We gotta do plan B and get this one back in order, and then teach it again the way it's supposed to go. Because once you address it out of order, the answer is what? Out of order. You can't get it. All right, y'all, so I just wanted to hit that and hold that. So now, when we get the understanding of two witnesses painting the same picture and the subject, it'll be easy for us to go where we went down to 38. No, we went down to 36. 36, okay. So it'll be easy for us. Let's get right into the heart of the matter, Genesis chapter 3. We're going to deal with what's taking place with the words that are there. They're very important. See, y'all, and it's something to let you know both things took place, but what we're talking about is in a supernatural time. Y'all have to understand, sin went in the garden, not by the creation, but Satan had failed at this point. Because in the garden was the tree of life, and what's the other tree? Good and evil. So we were told not to mess with that tree, but we're going to read so we understand why when we get back to the kingdom during the millennial period, it'll be that bit of opportunity left for the nations not to come up to Jerusalem like they're supposed to, and they'll get no rain. So, but what Satan did at this point was, the Most High said, was worse than trying to take the throne. What he did to Adam and Eve was worse. It's low down. It's like that one guy that finally admitted he kidnapped that little 11-year-old boy, and what he did to him, and the little boy asked, what did I do wrong? And he said, just pretty much being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he had his way with him and killed that boy. For 20 years, his parents finally get the relief that they've been looking for. Even though he did, it's still relief. But it's a tragic relief. So let's get right there, Genesis chapter 3 and 1.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made.
So he's talking about all of the beasts, and we're talking about what's compared to this. Because everything that the Lord do is a comparison. That's why everything he breaks down, he compares it to branches, trees, fruits, vines. He said, I am the vine, ye are the branches. You know what I'm saying? So I am the tree, ye are the olives on the tree. So he's showing us that we're his planting, but he always points to a planting or an animal or something that you can identify with to understand better. You know, go ahead, the serpent.
We're going to read the definition of serpent.
Go ahead, brother.
Read the definition.
What? Nahash, right, Nahashatan.
It says to prognosticate.
Read that a little bit loud.
To prognosticate.
Okay.
And enchant.
And you hear that? Enchanter.
Enchant. Incantation.
Incantation, more witchcraft.
A snake.
A snake.
So the question is, do slithering snakes do enchantments?
Right.
Right. He's symbolizing something.
Right. And think about this. You ever seen a snake hypnotizing anybody? What they doing over there in India? What do they call them? Snakes what? Charmers. They doing the thing, but it's telling you about how still deadly that beast is. Yeah. You know, it's dangerous. It's slick. Once you think you got it for a friend, it turns its back on it. Before any of y'all came into the truth, and somebody said, hey man, when last time you seen Willie Jackson? Man, I don't mess with that snake. Is it anything more need to be said on what that means? Before we even got into it, did you think he done turned into a slithering beast? See, you're using the same acronym in your corner walk and don't even know. Right. You think you just calling him a snake because that's what we gonna see coming around. Come on, man, I'll take you out to the forest. He's swirling around on the ground right now. No. Go ahead, bro.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field,
right,
which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yet hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of every fruit of the trees in the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So there's eating and the word touching. Yeah. So that's what we need to get some understanding of eating and touching. Shalom, y'all.
We're going to get touching first, and then we're going to do eating. Now, listen up, y'all. Actually, listen to these definitions. The word for touch is nagat in Hebrew. Nagat. And it says to lay the hand upon.
To do what with the hand?
To lay the hand upon.
Right.
It says to lie with a woman.
To do what?
To lie was a woman.
Right.
Look this up, y'all. It says to reach, to arrive, to acquire. It says violent, to strike, to punish, defeat, to touch, to smite, to touch, to lie with the woman.
So we know that that's a physical attribute. Everything is just laid out right there.
It's there, right there.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? So that part of it now, when we hit E, go ahead and hit E, and we're going to hit scriptures that we may understand what this is talking about. We're going to hit a few, y'all, that will get right to the point, because we got another thing on it. We're going to hit the holy name and worship. So y'all, we're going to just speed through a little bit, but we're going to hit it to where it's concrete that you may understand. What you got, Rob?
For eat, we got a call. A call. It says to eat, to devour, to burn up, to feed.
To what?
To feed.
Right.
It says to consume, to freely eat, to devour.
So we see eat means to take in, right?
To take in.
So, okay, to devour.
Right.
So he said, now look, notice what the serpent did to her. What did he ask her? Was this sin and receive? Look, see, he knows the rules. It's what he's trying to do is get you outside the box. He knew I had to send a message, and you send me back.
Right.
You have to send me back. No law breaker.
Right.
So the first thing he did, he didn't deceive her. First off, he came to her and asked her, what did the Most High tell you?
Right.
And so it's a pattern. If you study your enemy, you know how he's coming. The first thing you're going to do is ask you what you start going off, especially what she did. She answered perfectly how Adam had taught her. What she said? She answered and said what?
It says, verse 4, and the serpent said to the woman, ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
See, now you should be as gods, knowing good and evil. Why would a God know good and evil? But see, this is the serpent talking to him. He used to walk upon the stones of the sides of the north of the congregation. Right. He was a high-arching angel. He was a cherub. Oh, let give me just a little bit of Ezekiel 28:20. So that we put him, and now you'll understand why sin was in the garden, or transgressor was in the garden, because see, he couldn't get out of that space. He couldn't get out of that space because he's supernatural.
Right.
We went over the terms of the human parts of the body that 1 Corinthians 15:51 speak of. There's terrestrial, there's the natural man, there's the preternatural man, and then there's the supernatural.
Right.
Lucifer and all of them were created supernatural. So they can't die of decaying flesh. That was never put on them.
Now I want to read something real quick.
Go ahead, brother.
This is Genesis 2. And I'm going to start at verse 8, just to show that these trees, before we get into it, is many different types of trees.
Yes, sir.
In the garden. Trees represented angels. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 8. It says, the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food.
Right.
So every tree that was good for food, if you actually look at this is food that you actually eat, right? Now check this out. It says, this is separate, comma, the tree of life also. No, also. It's separate from food.
So that's why I said also.
Also, it says in the midst of the garden and the tree of good and evil.
Yes, sir.
So he's separating these trees. He's showing that when he created the garden, he created actual trees to eat from, and then other trees. Now, if you look up the Hebrew word for tree, it's eretz. Okay? The Hebrew word for tree is eretz. But the Hebrew word for counsel is eretzah. So you take counsel from trees.
Right.
So that was taking counsel. That's why he said eat of every garden. He means you can take counsel from every tree in this garden and do not take counsel from the tree of good and evil, which is who? The serpent, Satan. That's why there's three words, eretz and eretzah.
And he knew good and evil because he sinned. Let me look at that Ezekiel 28:20.
Ezekiel 28.
Yeah.
Chapter
Verse 10.
verse 2.
And y'all, this is something very important to understand what Lucifer's rank was before he fell. before he was in the garden. Because y'all have to understand, in the book of Esther, 2nd Ezra, chapter 3, says, that's chapter 2, verse 3. It says the Garden of Eden was created before earth was.
Yeah,
That's why he said he planted a garden eastward in Eden. See, Eden is the world. And he planted a garden in the east of Eden. Of the world. Of Eden is the world, and he planted a garden east of Eden, which is Jerusalem. It's northeast, what you call Africa today. Or the center of the world. It's the navel of the world, Jerusalem. Good. Oh, yeah, 2nd Ezra. Go ahead, keep going, y'all. I'll get you that right now. 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 8. Let me make sure. Go ahead, brother.
Ezekiel 28, verse 10. Thou shalt die the death of the uncircumcised.
What you should do?
Die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers. For I have spoken, said the Lord God.
Right.
Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the kings of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sun,
Right.
full of wisdom,
Right.
and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden.
Thou hast been where?
In Eden.
So you know this is not talking about a physical king of Tyre, but he's the king of all of these nations of Tyre and all of them, because that's what he told the Messiah in Matthew 4th chapter. He told him, he said, if you bow down and worship me, I will give you what? All of these kingdoms. So he had America even in that listing. I'll let you run the world. And the Messiah looked at me like, you really took a blow to the head, didn't you? When you got cast out. So you think I'm about you. And then he started hitting them with script. Satan did. Throw yourself off the cliff. The script said he'll lift you up. He said, and he said, Messiah responded back with word. Don't get him off feet. Make these stones bread. You've been fasting for 40 days. I know you're hungry. Man should not eat of what? But by what? So we see Eve now in these two perspectives that Satan wanted to have physical. He said, no, you have to eat spiritual. You can't eat carnal or just basic bread all the time. You got to eat spiritual. You got to eat spiritual bread. That's what man should live by. Spiritual bread. Those are your rules and regulations. You can like white bread, you can like wheat bread, you can like whole oat or whatever. But this bread you won't have to like. This is the bread of Isaiah 55, 1 through 7. Coming by bread, honey, and milk with no money. That bread you can buy with no money. It can't be sold to you because it's absolute truth. And then he asks us, why do we keep buying bread that don't satisfy? Why do you keep buying books that don't mean nothing? Purpose, life driven. What is your purpose in life? Ecclesiastes, keep the commandments of the Lord. That's your only purpose. If you want to live eternally. What I care about what some author talking about. At least make 2 trips to the grocery store and help old ladies. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But that's not your purpose in life. If you're not telling her why you helping her with her groceries. Go ahead, bro.
Son of man, verse 12 again, y'all. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus,
Right.
and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sun, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God.
The garden of who?
The garden of God.
See, he had been in Eden, the garden of God. He said, you're sealed up, you're full of wisdom and beauty. Why do you think Satan is the most sought after demigod on the planet? Of earth and ruling. Full of beauty and wisdom, so he thought the Most High created him to be very comely and beautiful. And he got next to him, go ahead. like Michael, looking just like the other one in appearance, made after the image of the Father. But what we're talking about is wisdom make a man's face to shine. It makes him beautiful. See, and that's what we have to look at because it's inside out. It's what was coming from inside of him that was making his face glow and making him more beautiful than he was because of the wisdom he contained. And we're going to read a little bit more of what he was in charge. Because you have to understand, he's like those two cherubims that's over the Ark of the Covenant like this. He was one of them.
That's a good question, bro.
So you understand his rank. Not like General Yohana Hornbelly out there, these fake ranks. He was ranking.
He was a straight high priest. He walked amongst the stones. You know what I'm saying? And that's why if you read the lost books, it said that he fell from his glory. He didn't lose his power, but he fell from his glory. You know what I'm saying? His light, he fell from that wisdom he had, he fell from his glory, his position. You know what I'm saying? Like Dad was saying, on the holy archangel, the two angels, that's him in Christ.
Yeah.
And he had a high rank. But he got greedy, selfish, he wanted to be above God and Christ.
It says pride is the beginning of sin.
Exactly.
Right. Verse 13 again. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created.
See, now it's listed, I would say was, because it's showing he was a priest. He was a high priest. It's told about his breastplate. The carbuncle, and these not the same stones or given to Aaron in his breastplate. So it's telling you he's a high rank and he's a high art priest in the heavens. And look, in the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 20, it says there's no evil above the serpent. There's no evil above, 25:15 of the book of Sirach. There's no evil above Satan. There was no evil. The Most High didn't have spirits sitting there that tempted him because it's not recorded from Genesis to Revelation. Who caused Satan to sin but himself? That we're going to read right here. If you can find anywhere where any spirit came to Satan and said, turn on the Most High, then he created spirits of evil form. But he never did because Job said, 38, chapter of Job, and all the sons of God saw the creation of the world and they shouted for joy. Evil was created by law breaking. That's when evil come in. What makes your children look at you differently when you do what? You do what? Whoop that we're in. Hey, get mad. How many of y'all stumped off to y'all room? Keep crying, I give you something to cry for. You sick, stinky ladies. What you say? What you say? Now Satan is born in your mind. Put evil in there now. Yeah. Say that about it. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub.
Thou art the what?
Thou art the anointed cherub.
So we know again, this is not talking about kings of the earth, because which king that we can say on planet earth ever was anointed?
Not
cherub.
Especially not no cherub.
No.
It's an angel.
Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth.
That do what?
That covereth.
That covereth the mercy seat.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I have set thee so. Thou was upon the holy mountain of God.
So we know this ain't talking about no common man. He's in the mountain of Yah. Go ahead.
Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou was perfect in thy ways.
What was he?
Thou was perfect in thy ways.
He said Lucifer was perfect in his ways. What? That's the key word. Go ahead.
From the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee.
Till what?
Iniquity was found in thee.
Found, where did they find iniquity? In thee. So he had a burning desire, looking in the mirror. What are you is so pretty.
In Genesis it said that when she looked at this tree, it was desirable.
That's right.
To eat.
And we look
up
up,
handsome man, right?
right? And you look up desire in the dictionary.
I'm telling you.
Right. A craving or a strong appetite or sexual appetite. So the bad boy, messing with the bad boy, the pretty bad boy, ain't just started last week. It started in the garden. Or the pretty boy, the bad boy. Go ahead, read some more.
Verse 16.
Uh-huh.
By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence. Thou hast sinned.
And thou hast done what?
Sin.
So where did this sin take place? So why do you have people in the sundry doctrine talking about Moses' law like there was no sin before that? What Sodom and Gomorrah before that? And what happened to it? Because of what? See, if y'all don't push them back to the beginning, that lets you know what they understand that what you're receiving back is they actually think sin started after they came out of Egypt with Moses. So when you hear that, instead of just being like a viper and a pit bull and want to just chop them down, I'm about to bust their head. That's what it says. If whatever you're doing is not for edification, you're wasting your time. That individual has to be lifted up. And why I'm saying this, we read Psalms 83 all the time. It says, scare the hell out of them with your stones, Lord. Make them tremble. But we never really read verse 16 of Psalm 83. Because it says, so that they may know that your name is great. The only reason he terrorized them is to make them acknowledge. So that they can live, not die. So that you can live. Tormented with your stone. When that's the only time you hear them hollering for the Lord, truthfully, don't you? You're not watching the videos and they hear them out in every language. Every language. You see them flood waters coming, what you gonna holler but that? Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
Verse 16. Again. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God.
So we know who he's talking about. He said, I'm going to cast you out of the mountain of God as profane. Go ahead.
And I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
Now let's see what his iniquity was. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Thine heart was lifted up.
What was thine heart?
Lifted up.
See, it says thine heart was lifted up. It ain't list nobody that caused him to lift it up. Thine heart was lifted up. His mind, first, this is your first heart. This is your second heart. This controls this. If you start off with this, it's like a man starting off with below the belt. When women say that's all you do is think with that mindset. Below the belt. So this is your first part. When you love the Lord with your heart, mind, and soul, you love him with this first. You got to love up here first. You got to weigh it and put it in here as a treasure in the safe spot. And then this pumps the blood of righteousness and truth. This will start to go through the vein. But if you put it wicked in here first, what this going to pump? But wickedness. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness.
See, he corrupted his wisdom by the way of by reason of thy brightness. Because I'm so wise. You know, y'all can't tell me nothing no more. My dung don't stink anymore. Go ahead.
I will cast thee to the ground.
I will cast thee where?
To the ground.
Right.
I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee.
So he said through thy traffic, he's causing all of the confusion or the road rage in the world right now. His traffic. He causes this traffic. He causes all of these rear-enders in your mental all the time. Always crash, always traffic up here. Because he takes away the rest from you. See, Adam and Eve was born, well, they came into the garden in the rest, I should say. On the seventh day, he rested and brought the man whom he had formed into the garden. In the rest, they were in the eternal rest that we are trying to get to. That rest that Hebrews 4 talk about. If he hadn't spoke about another rest, giving them another rest, we still be doing the rest we talking about coming out of Egypt. And we're going to get some understanding on that rest as well. But go ahead, brother.
Verse 18.
Yes.
Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold.
So now we see that he has an everlasting punishment. This is what you got to understand. The punishments that were handed out then, they were eternal punishments. So they ran a long time. Lucifer's punishment of eating dirt like a serpent, or licking dirt like a serpent, and eating dust as his food has not happened yet. That won't happen until after the second coming. Until he's thrown head first into the lake of fire. Then that curse will be fulfilled. And we're going to see that too. So we have to understand this eliminates that. At that point, he was turned into a snake and slithered away out of the garden. This kills that. He was never, him nor Eve, they got the initial curse, but their curses are running eternal. Understand what I'm saying? And let me give you a perfect example. Area here, 110, chapter 2, verse 12.
And look, the thing is, we never read snake. It's not in there. You don't read snake.
Right.
It's serpent. And serpent, if you read the definition, the last thing of serpent was snake, and we're just talking about the characteristics of the snake.
What did he call the Pharisees in Matthew 7?
Vipers.
You vipers, you what? A tree is known by its what?
Fruit.
You got tree, fruit, and viper. In Matthew 12 and Matthew 7, when he's talking about the Pharisees.
Is that? I mean, wicked.
Now, you talking about, you shouldn't talk like that. You call a man a snake, I don't care what tone of voice you use. It's going to be rough, ain't it? You snake. Hey, you serpent. I mean, if you use it that long, you still labeling somebody a bad name. You whisper that. It's rough. Where we at? You got that area?
That 1 Timothy?
Yeah, chapter 2, verse 12.
Well, hold on before you go. Another thing too. Think this too. This is how you know you need to be conditioned. You never read snake, and it never said that they ate of an apple. So
Right.
why is they painting pictures of apples? It ain't even in there. It never even said the fruit that they ate of.
Right. Now, because they used a fig,
It's at 1 Timothy.
you know, a brother came on the radio, he thought that they were actually dwelling in the Garden of Eden in a fig grove. And he thought a fig was these. So anybody that fig knew, you go on the head. So, but that was what he was talking about. Figs have two forms of figs, just like an olive tree. There's a wild olive and there's a natural olive that grow. And he compared Israel to that and the rest of the world at one time. So he's explaining different things from that perspective. A fig has righteous fruit, and then when you get into the book of Jeremiah 4, it talks about the unrighteous figs, and it's talking about men. Right. Once we understand the difference in those two, and then drop it to corn, it'll be much easier. Go ahead, brother.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 12.
What it say?
But I suffer not a woman to teach,
Right.
nor to usurp authority.
Nor to do what?
Usurp authority over the man.
See, and y'all, this is the key reason teaching and usurp is in the same sentence. It says she cannot overpower him with teaching. When Aquila and Priscilla went out, there was no overpowering that. It was not what you see with Aunt Esther carrying the Bible and working Woodrow over. And usurping authority. Woodrow, put that bottle down before I screw your arm off and beat the hell out of you in front of a whole group of people. And Woodrow just won't. Put the bottle down. What strength do we have left after that? And she got the script in her hand when she hollered them words at Woodrow. That's all. Go ahead.
You want more of that?
Yeah.
Verse 13. Well, the rest of 12.
Yeah.
But to be in sight. Verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
See, now why do we jump back to the garden? So it's telling us where the problem with usurping authority came in at. And it wasn't so much as she overpowered him, so to speak, but she usurped authority. She learned from another individual. And then she taught him that from a perspective that was not of the Most High. Because he asked her what was the truth, and she told him what the truth was, and then she went against what she had told her. That's where the transgression came in. Adam was not there. He was in the garden, but he wasn't standing right there, or he the chump of all chumps. He's a chump sucker if he stood there and watched somebody knock his woman. Oh my God.
So when you read out through the whole entire Bible, it always puts you in the perspective of trees, fruits, grass, fields, everything. The whole Bible goes back to the garden.
That's right.
From Genesis to Revelation, it goes back to the garden. So the whole thing is what he said, to get back to the image of God, to get back in the garden. But this time it won't be what was going on, which is a woman laying down with Satan physically and spiritually.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But we're going to clear that right up. But this is what I was telling you about 2 Ezra, chapter 3, verse 4. Let me just read these 3 verses right quick. O Lord, who beareth rule, thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people. Thou gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hand, and did breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leadest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forth. Go ahead, brother.
So, his right hand, is that the Messiah?
Yeah.
He did the work.
See, yeah, say everything was created, was nothing created without him. When he talked about I was there in the beginning, and there was nothing made that was not made without him being a part of it. So the Messiah was right there. He's always been, that's why he said, give me back the glory I had before the what? The world was. So he was sitting on high. He was at power and majesty before he came to earth.
Look at it with the word.
See, the Garden of Eden is paradise. It was in that realm. It was in that heaven. So all it did was move to earth. Or basically, right now there's a shield or a buffer. The heavens have become brass. There's a curtain there that we can't see through to the next realm. The only way you get into that is dreams, vision, or a supernatural experience will let you go through that. Or you ingest some lysergic acid dithylamide. LSD. That'll hurry up and get you there.
Hey, bro, just bring it down to a more personal level. You're the king of your household, right? You don't have to make a move. You send orders. You tell the children where to go.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's the same with the Most High. He doesn't move off of his throne. He sends orders, and the work is done.
Okay, I get that. That's why I get it. This is the thing that is Messiah the only one that can see the Almighty. What about the other angels?
No, that's why he wants to go up. I want you to see in the stuff. The book of Enoch talk about the levels of heaven.
And God is in the third.
Right.
And everybody is just the 7 heavens.
Right.
And once you get up there, you see, once you get up there, it's holy archangels and cherubims with with swords. Can't nothing get through this ring because that's where the throne died. They don't even go through that.
Right.
And nobody, none of the angels seen God.
Seen the face of it.
Seen the face of it.
They seen his glory, like Moses saw Christ's glory in the mount. That was the Messiah there.
Right.
But 1 Corinthians 10 tell you that rock that they followed, that rock was Christ.
Okay, that was the Messiah.
In his glory.
In his glory.
That's what he has to see, because glory is not that individual, it's what that individual has that becomes his glory. Like Christ is the glory of the Father.
Right.
Man, woman is the glory of the man.
Right.
And children are the glory of the mother, you know, because they raised him in the beginning. So it's chain of command. In order. So when you see talk about the Lord's glory in Isaiah 48 also, he said, I will not give my glory to another. He would immediately jump to verse 8 and say right here, he said he wasn't going to share with Christ. But they never read verse 1 through 4 of that same Isaiah, because it says, behold my beloved whom I have chosen.
Right.
This. So when you get to verse 8, that's what he's saying. This we got. This is the glory. This matches up with verse 8, but if you let somebody cherry pick you, they'll go right to verse 8 and skip over verse 1 through 4.
The glory of God is the Son.
Right.
What chapter did you just mention?
Isaiah 48.
See, we need to know these cuts.
Right.
We need to cut this up.
That's why at the beginning,
And bring it back up at the same time.
like if you read in Genesis 1,
Hold on, I'm sorry. Isaiah 42, verse 1 through 4.
if you read in Genesis 1, wasn't nothing being created or made until the light was created on the first day. Right after that light was created on the first day, not the fourth, but on the first day, work immediately started getting done.
Right.
That's when he made Christ come from above the throne and rebuild earth.
Right.
So when it said, God said, let there be light,
Right.
and the evening and the morning became the first day, no.
Yeah.
Rebuild.
Rebuild.
Rebuild, yeah.
That was the second flood
Yeah.
of Noah. Second flood on earth.
Oh, yeah.
It's
There was a flood before that. The world was coming out of chaos.
yeah. That's why it says in the beginning.
But we'll get on that. Look, there's a video out there now called The Heavens Were
The heavens
Over.
were of old. I actually just watched it this morning. The heavens I was watching it this morning.
Y'all don't want to lose it, y'all. That's why I check it out.
Just go on our website and just look up the heavens will go.
Yeah. 2 Peter 3, 5 through 8, Jeremiah 4:23 will clear up what we're trying to say.
When I first came to the truth, I didn't like it. But I never heard it before.
Right.
When he said it was a whole other world before this world, it was void or
Yeah.
cast out.
Right.
And
And Jeremiah 4:23 uses the same word, bold and terrible, means to completely destroy and leave nothing on the earth. And that's how Jeremiah is screaming to the prophet, he'll do you like he did that world. And Peter said, let us not be ignorant of this one thing. For the heavens are all old, you know. But the heavens which we are under now, we're under the same heavens Adam and Eve were under. That we're under the same heaven after the flood.
And
So he's talking about a heaven before that.
And his first instruction to Adam and Eve was replenish the earth.
Right. Read. Same thing he told Noah when he got off the boat.
After he destroyed the world with water.
He flew and replenished the earth. So what you read in Genesis 1:1, because Moses wrote this as a summary of all the other lost books that are out there. So he compiled it, he pushed it together in a summary into the 66 books.
Exactly.
All of these books are piled into here. But these go into day-to-day detail, like the book of Enoch that tells you the different levels of heaven. Job 38 go into it too, but the book of Enoch goes detailed events. So that's why you have to understand the whole matter. And when you read Genesis 1, that was coming out of the flood, because he completely destroyed everything before that, and Lucifer was running that kingdom. In the book of Enoch, Lucifer was running two kingdoms before that.
Yeah, he was.
Were all these books together at one time?
Yeah. Well, what we're talking about, besides saying the world can contain all of the books written about how the world was created and who running and calling all the shots. He said the world can contain. If we have all of the books that we need, we'd have to have them shipped in a truck. We be bagging it up like this.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
So we getting bits and pieces.
We get bits and pieces.
But that's what you got on the Spirit, you know?
That's what it's for, so you stay involved. If you read straight through this, what do people say? I read the Bible how many times?
And you know you heard
And you ask them one question. Just ask them one question. What's the Ten Commandments? You done read it backwards and forwards. What's the Ten Commandments?
Can't name one of them. That famous one. Thou shalt not kill.
Right. Then they jump right down the middle. They know that one, folks. They hear it at every funeral.
Right.
So you have to understand that when this was written, there's things that was going on way before earth was thought about, when Satan was causing traffic up in heaven with the third of the angels. That was majorly going on. They were scrapped. And Michael teamed up with an army of angels, and they worked Lucifer and his boys over.
Galatians 12. Can they die?
They can't die. They can't die like me and you die. That's what I was talking about, the natural man made out of dirt. Then you have the preternatural man, the dirt man with the Holy Spirit dwelling in him. He becomes preternatural. You look these words up. And then there's supernatural. So when we are changed, if we die before Christ come back, we will be raised supernatural. If we're still alive when he come back, we immediately go into a preternatural stage like Adam and Eve was, because Zion or paradise has to populate children in righteousness. That still has to go forth or the word is void. His mission was to make this natural man and put his spirit in him and produce children in righteousness and live forever. That's why we get into the books of Isaiah, say a child should live 100 years old and an old man should see his days out. But there will still be death going on in Christ's millennial kingdom reign. Death and hell is not thrown into the lake of fire until Satan is loosed after 1,000 years. Then he's thrown in there with the beast and the false prophet, and so is death and hell. What is the wages of sin? Death. So death is still hanging around.
So if you die doing religious spirit, is it a rap thing?
It all depends on how you die. If you die being disobedient, like Zechariah 14 says, don't come up, the nations don't come up, they get no rain, it's a wrap. But if you, one of the preternatural, the dead that rise first in Christ, they precede the preternatural. They go into the kingdom first. They can never die again. What we talk about, because they died physically once. That's why Enoch has to come back and the two witnesses have to come back. And they're going to be killed by the Antichrist. Because it's appointed for every man to die once. In this place. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, let's roll. Where we at, y'all? Because we got a little bit more time. About 45 minutes.
Right now,
where we at?
Just look it up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and also, y'all, we ain't going to get into it, but Ezekiel 31st chapter, that whole chapter dealing with trees and comparing the trees of the Garden of Eden, the whole entire chapter. Ezekiel 31. Y'all put Matthew 7 and 7 on down, and Matthew 12:31 talks about also tree, serpent, and viper. So now we got that point, y'all, because we got to speed it up a little bit. We seen who was in the garden, Lucifer cast down, so he was there waiting on Adam and Eve. He was part of that realm that came to earth when the Most High planted that second Ezra we just read. The Garden of Eden was already there because it was part of heaven. It's paradise. It's the new Jerusalem that's coming back down from heaven. And like manna, when Adam and Eve sinned and were thrown out, cherub blocked the way and it was taken to what we call Abraham's bosom or paradise. Luke 16. And the Testament of Levi, 3rd chapter, breaks down that realm called the third level of heaven or Abraham's bosom or paradise. It's a holding spot for the most wicked and the righteous that died in the Messiah. One side is going directly into the kingdom. The other side is going directly into the lake of fire.
Why they immediately torment now.
That's when we read Luke 16 about the man, if you just touch your hand in the water and put it on my tongue, he said they got Moses and the prophets to tell them. Let them tell them. He said, but if one go back from the dead, they believe. He like, look, one had already been back from the dead, and they still ain't believe.
Right.
If Tupac walked in here, who's going to believe more tomorrow? Anybody here, you going to really believe the scriptures tomorrow because you see Tupac? Or you going to be asking that when that album going to be dropped? Where we at?
Back in Genesis 3.
Yeah. So y'all read them scriptures because we run out of time. Y'all just check them out. We don't want to lose it too quick right here. Ezekiel 31, y'all read all of that. Now we're going back to Genesis chapter 3.
Verse 6.
Well, we got to give you, we read, touch, and eat, right?
Yeah, we just got to get pleasant and desire.
Okay, so go ahead and hit desire out of the definition and understanding.
This verse 6, y'all, Genesis 3, verse 6. It says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eye, and the tree to be desired to make one wise,
Right.
she took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
Now, we just read about his wisdom and his good looks in Ezekiel 28.
Yeah.
And his wisdom, a tree to make one wise.
Yeah.
He like, I know you didn't heard about it. So what you think? Now, do you think she was looking at an apple like that? Look at it, it's so red. Look at the stem out of it, it's worm free. It's just so desirable. No, it wasn't that.
And notice this, he told Adam, don't eat of the fruit. He told Eve, do not eat nor touch it. He didn't tell Adam, don't touch it. Yeah, exactly.
So the language is there. And for any of y'all that study New Testament super figure, there's a book called the Book of James, the Proviangelon of James. And in the 10th chapter, he speaks on, he said, when he came home and found Mary pregnant, he said he started beating on his chest with rent his clothes, and he said, it's not the same thing that has happened to Adam has happened to me. For when Adam was away, the serpent came and beguiled Eve. And the same thing has happened to me. Now she's 6 months at this time. Because Joseph was a house builder. He was a farmer. He would go away and build homes and come back. That's why she went to stay with Elizabeth. So he said the same exact thing has happened to me. For when Adam was away, the serpent came. The same thing, y'all done had the same thing happen in the club. Somebody, you see how they look and you give him the stare like, no, this belongs to me, partner. You get up. Yes, who's Mr. Slick? Right while you in the bathroom. I see you drinking cheap liquor. That all she likes. And you come back and there's 2 glasses sitting there, you like, who bought that? It's sir, who bought that? Church so
Adam took it to her. She taught it to her husband.
Right. Is that how Cain came about?
We're going to get into that. It's a connection of lusting for supernatural being and what we're talking about in the supernatural. That's why you can't sin while you sleep. Because if you lusted over somebody, Satan will send his angels as that person, male or female, to you. You got a hankering for a #1 actor, and you rub it on your Denzel Washington picture, ladies, and you fall off to sleep. And you got a husband and you pregnant, your desire is that baby's father. You want him to be like Denzel.
Spirit, not
See, that's why she said, I have gotten a man from the Lord.
Yeah, he did say that.
So she knew she hadn't got it from Christ. But, Ariel, I wanted you to finish reading that first 10. You still got that hole in there?
Yes, sir.
We jumped away, y'all. We got to quit jumping away real quick. Go back to that first 10 and finish that up. Because it's something very important in what we talk about, the everlasting curse. So we see it jumps right back to the garden about a woman usurping authority. Read that verse 13 again.
Verse 13 of 1 Timothy chapter 2.
Yeah.
For Adam was formed, then Eve.
Right.
And Adam was not deceived.
Adam was what?
Was not deceived.
See, Adam was not deceived. So he couldn't have been right there. How you gonna stand there and watch what he's doing and you not be part of it? Can you run in the bank with a mask on and say, I'm not part of the robbery?
You can't even stay in the car.
Go ahead.
But the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
So deception made her fall into the transgression. Now Adam did what he did instead of him saying, you've been deceived. What's been going on? He looked at it as jumping the gun because what he did is they violated the point of their marriage covenant being. That's why Paul said in 1 Corinthians 5, I wanted to present you as a chaste virgin, the church, not as Eve was, who the serpent begat. So you understand what he's saying. I want to present you. Why would she be a chaste virgin? So even if you're spiritually seduced, you're not a virgin anymore because that's what's going to be on your mind all day.
Exactly.
And a succubus or incubus will come to you and have their way with you in your sleep. That's why you can't sin in your sleep.
Right.
Because the Lord visits you in dreams.
Straight up.
So Satan will visit you too. We're talking about on a supernatural realm, that you have access when you go into REM sleep. Deuteronomy 23:10. If you man have a nocturnal emission, he has to do what Leviticus 15 says. The law still apply whether you sleep or awake.
Would you let you know that it is still to be a sin whether you sleep or awake?
Now you think about that being your supernatural, you land on your back like this, and you exhibit some work better than you will with your hand or clothes burn.
Everything, so
And it goes with, it goes in your supernatural. Now you think about the power of the mind to do that. You can do that constantly if somebody gave you to win a lotto ticket. Make it happen now. It ain't gonna happen without some friction. But you playing like this and watching a movie, and it's like it's real, and you having your way, and you do the same things in your dreams that you do when you woke. If it ain't the right person, you get up and you head for the car looking back, trying to beat the sun home. Go ahead. You don't want to get too graphic in there.
Verse 15.
Right. What does it say?
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
What should she be saved in?
Childbearing.
All of her curses were related to the other mouth, south of the Mason-Dixon line, so to speak.
Yeah.
It has lips and it has a tongue.
Yeah.
It's a mouth. So we understand that where he's saying, and every punishment was for that act. Pain during childbirth, multiple conceptions.
Right.
This is language about, not about this mouth,
Right.
but pointing to another area.
Right.
That's where all the punishments came from. Now he said to the serpent, for you being you done went below. You turtle. And Adam, you, because I told you, you do the telling, not the listening. For this you got to sweat from your brow. You got to work. Because he used to till the Lord. That's all he was doing is what we do in retirement work. He was working in the rest, but it wasn't the hard toil labor that we do now. It's going to be like in the kingdom. Swords be made to plowshare. We're going to have to clean it up. But that will be work, and that's in the rest period. It ain't no 1, 2, 3, 4 days in the millennial period. It's the rest period for 1,000 years, which no man has ever lived. Y'all, we won't get too far away from this. Where we at? We got Desire, we saw a little bit.
Yeah, look at desire.
Desire.
We gotta get it. But look, there's another term, y'all, called superfetation. So this is what happened. He met Eve. Eve took it. Now this is why we stay what we call safe. There's enough for us to use to say it really got physical, and we can get some DNA out on who Cain's daddy really is. But we got to get into Genesis 4:1. So 1 John 3:11 said Cain was from that wicked woman.
Yeah.
But could that be on the spiritual side? Always that first. We can stay safe with that. But her desire, while she's with Adam, her mindset is on another man. You know what it's talking about. Them songs ain't just came from nowhere. when Hagar had Ishmael, that was Sarah's son. She set Hagar on her lap so that when she gives birth, it's like her giving birth. So it's her son through her husband's seed, but through another woman. So it's on the spiritual sense. It's the same thing with the brother when he killed Onan about spilling it on the ground. Most people say, well, that was about masturbation. It had nothing to do with masturbation. It was clearly he got the goods and then he spilled it on the ground. That's why the Lord killed him. It's called coitus interruptus. Pull out. That didn't get him killed. What got him killed is he was supposed to give her a son, so his brother, because his brother didn't have no children. And it said he knew that the son would not be his. See, it didn't have nothing to do with masturbation, so to speak, what it was talking about was his vile action to say, well, I get the goods, but I ain't going to fulfill the promise that allowed me to get it. So now that's what he been wanting to do all along after his brothers died.
Right.
And that sin, and the Lord put it on him. And the brother before him was more wicked than him. Why? Because Judah married a Canaanite woman. And the first two sons, Perez and them boys were Canaanite, was the sons of a Canaanite woman.
The mother raised them.
Mother raised them and told them, I want to raise them in Canaanite doctrine. I want bones in their nose, plates in their lips by the time they 5. And see, her parents had paper. When you read in the Testament of Judah, the 12 patriarchs, her parents had paper and owned the liquor store, or many vineyards, I should say, and had big paper.
Big paper.
Yeah. So he looking at all they fat. So you overlook that she's a strange woman. Not to become a stranger means she can be accepted in the fold, but she was a strange woman of another God and deity. Big difference. Where we at?
I got this desire real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I want you to get that. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead and give me your desire.
The Hebrew teskua. And it says stretching out after, a longing or a desire.
I long for you.
Look up at Webster, it says sexual appetite.
Stretching out after.
That's the only reason Adam was so comfortable with what he was being taught. It's the same way. You can be rough all you want, but on the other side of midnight, you trying to be still sitting up with the monkey mouth. Let some soap suds be right here when she get out. Put on lotions on. Look here, baby. See, girls that were talking that noise, you know, I never said that about you. Oh, your mind ready to change now. Them soap suds. Yeah. Right.
That's true.
What we at?
Superfetation.
What it say?
The presence of fetuses of different ages resulting from the fertilization and development of 2 or more ovia liberated at different periods of ovulation in the same uterus.
So,
It's like fraternal twins.
2 eggs, 2
2 nations in one womb.
2 totally eggs in one, but it was up here first. Adam had taught her, and then he taught her. See, because he asked her, you got a man, that's what he was looking for. Who training you, girl? What you know? What you know about this life? She expressed it to him, didn't she? What he come back with the deception? No. You'll be an old woman before you get to experience that. You better do this now while you're young. While they're sitting up like boxing gloves. 15 ounces. Because if you wait too much longer, they're going to be like chocolate. You better come on now.
Did I get a quarter milk?
Y'all, look, it's the book of life, y'all. It's covered in every aspect, even the parts that we don't want to talk about that we call taboo. But it's not taboo, it's life. It's what goes on in everybody's life. What you have to warn your children about. Don't get caught. Don't do this before you send them out there. Don't bring them babies back home. See, a lot of people look at Deuteronomy 23:17 where it say, don't abhor an Edomite, or an Edomite can't come in the fold of the 10th generation, but they skip verse 1 and 2. A bastard is in the same line as an Edomite for so many generations.
Deuteronomy what?
And if you got 23, if you running that gamut, you won't have a problem with this because our nation is full of that. Y'all, we hate to use the term, what is a bastard?
Baby, you got no dad.
You got a dad. You don't know who he is. Sometimes you found out of the family union from a drunk uncle.
Oh, wow.
You notice though, that's why a lot
You know Earl ain't your real daddy.
You think that word would be more popular.
You know what I'm saying? You said you was the son of a Levite priest, they checked you, they went back to your ancestry line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They went back to the father's side. You know what I'm saying? If you was looked at like a bastard, they cast you out. You can't even be over it.
I thought a bastard was a child that was from a stranger, a strange man, even woman.
No, bastard is when they don't know who the daddy is.
Right.
That's a bastard, because everybody got a daddy in his ear. Obviously, seed headed to make a baby. You know what they did.
1 Kings 3 chapter. Did I say that right?
Third.
But the 2 women that had the baby, they were boys. What was the dad? When Solomon got ready to split the baby in half.
Because they could have ended the whole thing if the daddy was right there.
Right. Right.
Split the baby.
See, and what makes it also, it could be a woman that may be involved with other men, and you get her pregnant and you marry. See, that's what Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians. You can't bring fornication in. That wasn't saying polygamy is going away. It's just saying, if you take a harlot and bring her into your relationship, she's got another man on the side. It can't be no secrets. If you have a child by her, what's going to happen? Y'all know what happened at funeral? Don't know why they showed up. He wasn't married to their damn mom. They ain't getting a quarter. But them is children.
A lot like they broken up.
But they children outside that may need a DNA test. How you come home and say, she say it's mine? She say it's mine? Oh, I'm not sure. So you raw dogging and you ain't sure. That's what it means if you were a man that was already married and you wanted another woman. You couldn't have a single woman that had other men in her life because you're bringing a threesome into the fold. And that's why if you hear anybody saying, I got a secret concubine, what they say is, I got a woman on the side that may have another man. Let her say she's pregnant. She ain't mine. I saw some more shoes under the bed when I went over there. So you already know. So we're not going to belabor that point, but that's what happened in the garden. Now she touched, and we just read it, put the hand forth, and what we're talking about is whatever moves he showed her, whatever happened with her, produced that. He just read superfetation. So there's also another term called parthenopenia. P-A-R-Thenogenesis. And that's when there are certain animals out here that have births without the male involved. So everything that happens on earth is a girl what's happening up ahead. That's why the virgin birth is real. Because there's things on earth that happen the same way.
Well, how do you explain these hermaphrodites?
Oh, who's a hermaphrodite?
Hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite, I'm sorry.
That's just something either twins ain't developed or some heavy use of fertility drugs. And they merge in together.
But like he just said though, it's usually twins, the egg didn't develop separately. So they come out with both genders. But it's still, most of the time, notice this, most of the time it's still be a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And they'll cut off the one part that, or wherever the traits are favored.
Yeah.
But that's what caused hermaphrodites. A lot of things you don't know what's going on. Like in Judges 13, when Samson's mama was told what to eat, what to drink, nothing could affect that baby. When you see fertility drugs, you want to better your chances. So I start taking this, or I take that, I take this juju brew. And sometimes fetuses merge together because that was part of the sin of Eve in 3:16. Multiple what? No, conception. What is multiple conception? What is that called? Twins. If you have multiple conceptions, you got twins. That was part of her curse. Now let's get the end of Satan's curse so y'all don't think he would turn into snake. Give me Isaiah 65:25. And this is after the second coming. And then y'all, we're going to speak this right over with the last one, y'all. We got to get out of here by 3:15 today. Or, bro, and then we'll just pick up and y'all continue to go. You feeling it? Yeah. Okay. Ezekiel 25, where you going to start at? I'm not Ezekiel. Isaiah 65. And y'all see, because these curses happen in supernatural time. You're in the Garden of Eden. It's supernatural time. That's why Adam still lived to be 930. Methuselah, the oldest man, lived to be 969, but no man has lived one day, 1,000 years. No man. So when he said, know that thou going to die this day, then you'll have somebody run at you from another doctrine. See, right there, say Adam lived 930 years, he didn't die that day. See, that book is making up. No, well, you don't know 2 Peter 3 and 5, 3 and 8, that's 1,000 years. Is one day to the Lord. Psalm 90 and 4 that says the same thing. No man has lived 1,000 years. No man has lived a day in the Lord because it was in supernatural time. So it was where you could, Adam was made to be immortal, according to the book of Sirach. So he was made to be immortal. So he was born to graduate to supernatural. From preternatural to supernatural. He was first natural, taken from the earth. The Lord breathed into him, he became supernatural. John 20:24, Christ did the same thing with the disciples. Groomed them, and then it say he breathed on all of them and say, receive ye the Holy Spirit. And they became preternatural. And then they started reporting back. We casting out devils. We doing this. We healed the blind man. We did this. Paul was doing the same thing. There was a boy sitting in the window looking to see him and got so sleepy because they used to go to 5 o'clock in the morning teaching. And he fell out the window and was dead. And Paul put his hands on him and resurrected him up. But corruption hadn't set in yet. It's a difference. Once 3 days pass, you see somebody get up there and come holler. That's why Christ had to be in the ground 3 days because, what is it called? When you get home, rigor mortis sets in how many hours? 72 hours, full rigor mortis. So that's when you start corrupting. The body starts to corrupt. And it releases into that stage now, drawing up the skin and through. But the Messiah saw no corruption. John 3:13, he said, I'm from above. Y'all can't come from where I come from. Y'all couldn't even go that way. That's why New Jerusalem is coming to earth. And we pray that, don't we? Thy will be done on earth as it is where?
In heaven.
You're praying for it to come down in the next breath. And when I get up there with the Lord,
Kingdom come.
we're going to be ice skating and eat freeze pop. No, you ain't. Everything going to take place right here where it was designed to take place. And the Father will be sitting on this throne where the heavens will open back up. That where Adam said, I hid myself among the trees. He was talking back and forth to the Lord. Like Satan and the angels do in Job 1, they can still go back and forth because they're supernatural. We preternatural, well, we natural now. If the Holy Spirit come on you and a miracle happens, you have moved to preternatural. It says outside the natural realm. Now you can get there with these drugs they got out here, flop and meth, and you can hurry up and get to them realms. But it's going to be terrible on your soul.
The wrong side.
It's the wrong side. Everyone that discovered something, the atom bomb, the iPhone, all of them dipping a tablet and LSD.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend that did drugs that put him come to sleep, put him in another state.
He was in another realm.
He couldn't do anything. He was just.
After he came back, all they filled him up with that Thorazine.
He wasn't the same like a child all over again.
Well, because he lost his mind, so they got to give you Thorazine. You still see the supernatural, but now you're back in the natural world. So you see demonic spirits and things that me and you can't see with this natural eye. So when he no, he see that. You can't see it. Where we at? Where we at? We finished that. Isaiah 65. Give me that. Real quick, y'all, but we got to move on. We got about 30 minutes or so. Go ahead. Isaiah 65. You start 17. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17.
What it say? Put it on the board. And then we're gonna get back to eating, so y'all understand eating. We're gonna hear Proverbs 30 and 20, and Hosea chapter 10, verse 13. Then y'all will understand the eating and the two ways that a woman eats. And you're gonna see spiritual and touch. You're gonna see what caused her not to be a chaste virgin anymore. And that's why Christ had to come, because they blew in paradise. And the tree of life was there already. Christ was there, had already instructed that. He was the word of the Most High. And the word means the Lord gave him orders. Yah gave him orders. And he took it to the rest of the world. He's the word. The word was made flesh. Go ahead, where we at?
Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17.
What it say?
For behold, I create new heavens and new earth.
So we see this as the second coming, right? After that, you see creation. We done with this plane we on now. Go ahead.
And the former shall not be remembered, nor come unto mind. But be ye glad and rejoice in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy.
Right.
And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying.
So we see this a place of where we've been talking about, the hopeful place. No pain, no suffering, no death, joy. The former things ain't even coming to mind. When we talk about the former things, we're talking about former things that cause you to sin don't come to mind anymore. Like you block certain things out, like you get over a stronghold, and how you don't want to remember those things you heard and push them back out of your mind. You may think a minute about how you were smiling and licking both eyebrows, but you heard and push it out of your mind because it was tragic behind that. So the only thing you focus on now is when I beat that. I got good days back again now. So I try not to focus on that. I can't get happy about that because I know what that brought. It brought pain and turmoil. So those things won't come to mind no more. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 20. There shall be no more thence and empty of days.
Right.
Nor an old man that hath not filled his days.
Right.
For the child shall die 100 years old.
Y'all saying this, that'll be the minimum of a child's age during the kingdom. What we know is a 100-year-old baby. Because there's no time going on in that land. There's no time. But if they preternatural, if they're the ones, 1 Corinthians 15:51 say, notice one thing, we should not all be changed, but in a twinkling of an eye, you're going to go from this flesh to preternatural flesh to repopulate Israel like Isaiah 4, verse 1 through 7. That where every man then will take hold of 7 women. You can't do that now. Minds is too corrupted, won't understand. It'll be too many children born the wrong way. But they have to repopulate Israel so that it goes like it was supposed to be written, like what Adam was supposed to do, have children in righteousness. Seth picked it up, but the world was already in trouble. Go ahead.
But the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed.
See, the sinner being how old?
100 years.
And we're talking about in the millennial reign of Christ, a sinner. So there's still going to be a point, even though Satan is locked up, he's locked up not to influence you. But what's out there is your own personal self and pride that will make you fall just like he did. See, there's nothing you can blame it on. You can't say the devil tempted me. He locked up for 1,000 years. There was nothing that tempted Satan but Satan himself. There's no head above the serpent. As the scripture said, there's no demonic being that gives Satan instruction. Like he done, damn, Amadeus, where you learn that at? No, all of them get their instructions from Satan. Go ahead.
And they shall build houses and inhabit them.
Right.
And shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them.
See, now we go eating the fruit of them of physical. Now we should inhabit houses and build. And now instead of building houses like we did for this nation in Egypt, everything we build gonna be for us. All of the crops we did, all the cotton we picked is gonna be for us. You know, that's what it's saying. You won't work for zero cent an hour anymore. Go ahead, brother.
They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree or the days of a tree or the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands.
See, long enjoy the work at the days of a tree. When you cut a tree down, there's ways to count how old it is. You count the They got different ways they say, but the sequoia, sequoia. Okay. So those trees are how old? Some of those trees 1,000 years old. Right. Go ahead, brother.
They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offsprings with them.
Who with them?
Their offspring.
See, this is that preternatural stage of those in Isaiah 4, 1 Corinthians 15:51, repopulating Israel with righteous children born in righteousness. No drama beforehand like Eve got into that mess at the beginning. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear.
Right.
The wolf and the lamb shall feed together.
So y'all know what time this is. The wolf and the lamb feeding together, eating together. Where y'all think y'all can do that? Let's head out to Big Cat Country now and throw a lamb in there and throw a piece of meat in there. The meat ain't gonna get ate. The lamb is. So it's telling you when this time they got the same diet. Go ahead.
And the lion shall feed together. And the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat.
What should be the serpent's meat?
Dust.
Where else did we read that at? Genesis 3. But where does the punishment happen? When does the punishment happen? At the end. At the rebuilding of Jerusalem, because the dust will be the serpent's meat. Everybody he tricked will be his dessert and dinner, because they will be laid to stone. You did it, there your food is. That's what you did, that burn up residue of stuff, which he should be made stuff. That's his reward. Then shall the dust be the serpent's meat. See, y'all have to understand, Lucifer was supernatural at that time. And he failed to become Satan. So now his curse is a supernatural curse. Because he can't die. He'll die spiritual death when he's thrown in the lake of fire. But up until that time, he ain't got that punishment yet. He ain't been made to eat the dust of his offspring yet. So you got to be extra careful when you're in Genesis, because it's a summary. Moses compiling it together so that we can walk with almost all of the lost book in one book. But you're going to have to break it down with certain other books that we're going to get into right quick before we leave, because I got about 15 minutes. Where we at? What verse we on?
The end of 25.
Is it another? Go ahead, read that.
No, that's it. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountains, says the Lord.
So y'all see right there that when that punishment came down, and you just read in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12 to 15, that the woman, but when he read it again, it said, but if she continue in her faith, she shall be saved in childbearing. So the more you down women with the scriptures and understanding that, childbirth won't be painful. You'll have a spiritual what is it called?
Epidural.
Epidural. Where childbirth won't be painful. She got childbirth, a menstrual cycle, and multiple conceptions about what she did. And if you think that's about looking at an apple,
No. The woman was
then Satan's craftiness is still at work.
He cursed her womb.
Give me Proverbs 30 and 20, and then we're going to move on to this last one. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Grab both of them. Them the two we need.
Just like you said before, that's why they made themselves aprons to cover. They didn't make napkins.
Right. Right. Oh, wasn't no Jesse James looking in the garden, was it? Was they like this in the garden, like a purple blood?
If you look at our apron, it says a clothing or cloth to cover the waist down. So they was trying to hide their shame.
What the Masons do.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Praise the Lord. You said Proverbs what then?
30 verse 20. Bag it up, maybe 18. There's some things that the Lord hates. And one of these is going to be in there so that we understand. And then give me we're going to hit these last few, y'all. I'm going to just run through some Sabbath things. What else did we have on this list? We had the holy name. We'll hit them real quick, y'all. Then we'll have to wrap it up a little bit earlier today.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 20.
Bag it up if you need to. 18.
All right. Proverbs 30, 18. I'll wait till y'all get there.
Y'all, the Lord just gave it to us straight. You see how confused we were. We're just talking about an apple. The word apple ain't even in Genesis.
Ain't even in Genesis.
Nowhere near. None of the chapters of Genesis.
None of them. Or talking about mass deception.
And then if that was the deal, you're in some trouble, Hosea. What you got on that table right there?
The apple.
But because it's so symbolic of what took place,
Right.
what's bitten out of the iPhone?
The apple.
What's bitten out of that?
Jump
One bite.
Right.
One bite.
Yeah.
Biting food.
So y'all, they know what the play is.
You know, what's crazy is that the iPhone is a tree of what? Knowledge. You go on there and Google positive things and negative things. You know what I'm saying? But they put it in our face.
Right there. So it's without excuse. You can't say I got trapped into watching Housewives of Hollywood, you know, Brothers of Hollywood, this and that, because it's going to be in there too. This is how crafty the devil is. He makes sure you won't have a way out. He's the accuser of the brother. He's going to point out your transgression. Not only that, but he's going to point it out from the perspective of how he was lusting for it. You want it fixed, like James said. We sin when we lust because the lust brings forth, because we lust after that sin. And then it brings forth death.
So they let you know Eve wanted to be
When
wild.
sin has what?
Conceive.
And conceives means to become pregnant. Right? And that what just happened in Genesis? It said, and thy conception to multiply. During thy conception, when thou becomes pregnant. I don't care what definition you get. Conception means to become pregnant. When you conceive something, it's already been through its fruition. Now it's got to take place. What you sow, you what? Reap. Let's get it.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 18.
Yes, sir.
There be three things which are too wonderful for me. Yea, four which I know not. The way of the eagle and the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid.
A way of a man with a what?
A maid.
A young woman. Uh-oh.
Right.
Why you hate that?
Verse 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman.
Such is the way of an adulterous woman. Now, what is adultery? To what? Okay. Many other definitions. Right. Polandry, which means a woman with multiple meanings. Right. Polandry. See, the term is called polygamy. It covers both man and woman. The terms underneath polygamy are polygyny for a man or polandry for a woman of under polygamy, meaning multiple spouses. Polandry ain't never been allowed, ever. Well, a woman can have more than one man, because you're always going to be on moral repose. And the baby is Earl at the tire shop. No! Right.
Who's the baby father?
Right.
Right.
Go ahead, read on, bro.
She eateth and wipeth her mouth.
She eateth and wipeth her mouth after committing adultery, such as the way of a woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth. Go ahead.
And said, I have done no wicked.
I have done no wicked. So what mouth is she eating with to commit adultery?
Right. The only one you can commit adultery with.
I ain't done nothing. I ain't done nothing.
The earth opened her mouth and swallowed up. So it's telling you the earth is a womb, so to speak. It produced that.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth,
It was
right.
mother, and he was taken from the virgin earth. A recreated earth, a recycled earth. Adam was pulled from a pure virgin earth. That's what he was made from, the recycle of the Lord. Pure, clean, no stains. Then he breathed on him, he became a living soul. Now he's preternatural, able to reproduce. Angels don't reproduce. They were never designed to reproduce, but they did. They left their first estate. Right. You have people run with this doctrine saying they're sexless. No, they are not like Ken and Barbie dolls between the legs. Right. With nothing there, just a flat, smooth surface.
If that was the case, then where did giants come from?
Right. And also, the deal is, Eve was fashioned from what? From if it's all male angels, where did she get her look from?
Exactly.
A female cow is different from a male cow. A female goat is different from a male goat. They got certain parts. Their parts was just never to be used. They were spiritual eunuchs, like Paul was, like the Messiah was. Spiritual eunuchs. Have the pieces, but don't use them.
Right.
No desire to use them because their focus is kingdom.
Right.
A multiplying supernatural. When we become the children of God, what no intercourse, it was spiritual intercourse that produced us and raised us up as children for that.
Right.
But that touching coming in, and we want to do wrong. Right. Finish reading that. You finish that?
Yeah, that's done.
Okay, so y'all ponder on that and chew on that a bit. Get your desires, like we got Hosea 10:13.
Hosea 10 and 13.
And y'all see this one too, and then y'all know what happened in the garden.
Yeah, I'm starting at 12.
Go ahead.
It says, so.
Hold on, everybody get that. And y'all understand this book of life. If it didn't cover these things, how you gonna give more credence to the doctor who you let look over your whole body? And you don't think he getting these out here. Don't you know them same prescriptions is from the apothecary specialist, Hebrew, who knew how to do root. All pharmaceutical ones, they're taking a root, they just copying it and call it, they make them what's called synthetically. Right. So you got artificial working on you, and that's what put demonic spirits inside of you. And it's what's doing now, it's loaded with hormones now that they make a man's hips change to look like a woman. All that's coming from pharmaceuticals. Yeah. Pills you can take to make your waist and grow breasts like a man. Same thing in the book of Enoch when they was talking about what they was doing. Satan and them angels was giving them roots that changed the form of men.
They got a big old, they sued this company for asthma medicine, man. All these boys, what, 6th grade.
Risperdal! Y'all heard it, but they show it late at night. Risperdal.
I seen it late at night.
Brings on now in breasts in males.
Right. Refer it out.
Now, who you think running to buy all the Risperdal? The ones that feel like I'm a man trapped in a woman's body. I mean, yeah, man trapped in one. He give me all the Risperdal, y'all. Yeah.
Sales skyrocket overnight.
Leo.
Hosea 10.
Yeah.
Hosea 10:13.
Yeah.
12. Sow to yourselves in righteousness.
Do what?
Sow to yourselves in righteousness.
Sow to yourselves, plant in righteousness. Plant in righteousness. To yourself. Go ahead.
Reap in mercy.
Reap in what?
Mercy.
And that means thanking for what's brought up. Thanking the Lord for whatever the product is, but it has to be, when it's done in righteousness, you give thanks. Go ahead.
Break up fallow ground. For it is time to seek the Lord till he come and rain righteousness upon you.
Right.
Ye have plowed wickedness.
You have did what?
Ye have plowed
How
wickedness.
do you plow wickedness? That's the work of wickedness. You not to just got one of the things that dig up dirt and you just plow into plant wickedness. I'm going to plant the seeds of fornication. I'm going to plant the seeds of I'm going to plant the seeds of thievery. Plowing in wickedness. Go ahead.
Ye have reaped iniquity.
You have what?
Reaped iniquity.
That's what happens when you plow in iniquity. You reap. You plow in wickedness, you reap iniquity. Go ahead.
Ye have eaten the fruits of lies.
What have you eaten?
Ye have eaten the fruits of lies.
See, that's where it is. You eat the fruits of lies. That's what Eve done. She ate the fruit of lies first because the first thing he did ask her, what did you do? What did God tell you? She answered him. Then he said he came with his deception.
Surely he lied.
And see, he was so good looking. He knew she was going to be entrapped with his good looks. She knew it. That's why the Messiah in Isaiah 53 said, he shall come as a plain man. Not comely. He wasn't an ugly man, but he said he was a plain man. So the virgins would be running, girl, y'all seen the Messiah? He fine. Yeah, the virgins go running like they was running after David and singing, David had killed his 10,000, Saul only killed his thousands. But it says David was handsome like that and very comely to look at. But most of this was good looking from what was coming inside out. But it said the Messiah would be a plain man dwelling in tents, just like Jacob was in Isaiah 53rd chapter.
What is that dwelling in tents?
Just, like city living, just like we live today. We don't live out, Esau lived pretty much in the woods. Every hunting show you see, who hunt?
Esau.
Right, where they at?
In the woods.
Okay, so Esau was given what he would be. His prophecies must go and continue on so you'll be able to identify him in prophecy. Just like ours. We would be in small areas, compound, like tell you, your own separate spaces, but locked into inner cities. We were herdsmen when we had our own flock. That's when we're going to go back to shepherds and herdsmen, but we were not what's called men of the field. We didn't live outdoors, basically. We live outdoors during the tabernacles for 8 days. So we understand what it was like living in the wilderness. But no, we was always, every captivity we was in, we were in provinces. Just like we are in North St. Louis, South St. Louis.
The ghetto.
Right.
Ghetto. And when you look up ghetto, it'll tell you where the Jews do.
Yep.
We always was real close. Take
Go
2
ahead.
steps over and
Yeah.
your name is yours.
Where we at? Was that it for that?
Now, finish it off. It says, ye have eaten the fruit of lies because thou didst trust in thy way.
What did thou trust in?
Thy way.
Uh-huh.
In the multitude of thy mighty men.
So we see again that the eat is in 2 forms. The Bible lays it out. Now all we need to do is show somebody showing her crunching on the apple. And the next thing she do, she got pain in her stomach. Give me some Job 31.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
can you break down that word beguile?
Get it for me. The guy.
Because it says she was totally beguiled.
Give me
Okay, so
first,
you skip over.
the 11th is 11. 1 Corinthians 11, 13. Give me that, the guy will go first.
Still on Job.
Are we going to Job? Yeah, we're going to Job 31. I'm going to get that.
God.
And I got it. Yeah.
What is that?
It's Greek 1537. It says seduced.
What?
To seduce.
To seduce.
To seduce wholly.
Holy.
Like to seduce entirely. To seduce, to beguile, to be deceived. She was seduced. She desired him. He was pleasant. Yeah. She took of the fruit. She ate it, consumed, longing for him. Man, sound like that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, give me that, Job 31. I'm looking for, yeah, go ahead and read it. I think it's in there. I'm just looking for, if I hide my transgression as Adam did.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You start at verse 1.
Yeah.
Job 31.
33.
33.
It's 33, chapter 33?
No,
Verse 33.
Yeah, verse 30.
Okay, yeah, I got that mark right there, mark there. But that's where I'm at. Right there. Ain't it mark right there?
Can't nobody see that, man.
Go ahead. I want you to read them first 5, and then we're going to skip down to verse 34.
Job chapter 31, verse 1.
Yeah.
I made a covenant with my eyes.
What do you make a covenant with?
With my eyes.
See, that spiritual eye up here, that's the first covenant to love the Lord with all your heart. That first eye, that eye that's seen. I made a covenant with that eye. So I won't even look at a woman in my dreams that I know. You think you can go to bed with Beyonce because she wiggle her hips and you think Jay-Z don't mind because you having your way in your sleep? Oh, if that big nose Negro knew what was going on. And wake up like ain't nothing happened? No. Go ahead.
I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid?
See what he says, why then should I think upon a maid? Same thing the Messiah said in Matthew 25. If you think to lust after a woman, you have done what?
Committed adultery.
Committed what?
Adultery.
Adultery already. Because it starts up here. And it don't matter what she got on. She can have on that full thing right here. But what it say? It says it's the eyes that capture. The women in them ices got everything covered except the eyes.
Yep.
They can have on a dress, a moo-moo way up to here. But when you look in here, your mind starts tingling. Wonder what's up under there. And that's when lascivious set in. And all you think about is that just lust all the time. They put a dress on the tree. You be trying to look up on it. Hey, no. Where we at? Go ahead. Come on, y'all. You run. Go ahead.
Verse 2. What portion of God is there from above? And what inheritance of the Almighty from on high?
Right.
Is not destruction to the wicked and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity?
A strange punishment. See that? Something outside of the Most High's laws of goodness is strange. It's like Cameo used to sing that jam. Cheese. And go ahead.
Verse 4. Doth not he see my ways?
Does he not what?
See my ways.
Y'all think the Lord don't see all of that sneaking? Go ahead.
And count all my steps. If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot hath hastened to deceit, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know my integrity. If my step hath turned out of the way, and my heart walked after my eyes, and if any blot hath cleaved to my hands, then let me sow. Let another do it. Yea, let my offspring be rooted out.
Let my offspring be rooted out. You think Satan went up to his same tricks with Noah after they got through destruction and into salvation? The first thing Noah did was awaken and knew what his younger son had done unto him. Now, the Muslim teacher was a homosexual.
What do you mean that's it?
There's some Christians that say that.
It's Noah's wife, right?
Yeah.
He raped his kid.
Didn't rape her.
Oh, you're right.
They got him drunk. Habakkuk 2:15, make sure y'all write that down. Woe to the man that give his neighbor to drink, that he may uncover his nakedness. Leviticus 18.
Habakkuk 2, chapter 2.
To uncover the nakedness of a woman, you uncover her, that's her husband naked. Do not approach thine aunt. It is thy father's brother's nakedness. What does that mean?
His mother could have been a participating person.
Why?
She was drunk?
She was drunk too?
Yeah, she was drunk.
Well, I know Noah was drunk. Didn't say anything about it.
But we don't know it was drinking going on. And Canaan was cursed. Canaan is the offspring of Ham.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So, what took place there? And two brothers walked out and covered up their fathers.
But they didn't do it.
They didn't look. So if you think he was just laying there sprawled out like this and it said Ham made my brother, woo, he should have kept that Vienna sausage in the can. No, it wasn't that.
Was Canaan the offspring of that boy? I mean, Noah's mother?
Curse be Canaan. That's the first thing he did. Is curse the pregnancy. The Lord cursed David and Bathsheba first son.
Your name died.
In 7 days. Because the 8th day he would have been what?
Circumcised. Can't circumcise you.
No.
I think I'm getting to see what you guys maybe said the Bible explains itself.
Oh, you crazy. The water to the ceiling fan. Oh, you need to let water now. You can't go past 60 in a ceiling fan. You're burning up. Yes, sir.
Now you know what cursing is the man that lied with his mother. Mother F.
Right, that's what it means. Mother, that's why F-U-C-K is always in capital letters. For unlawful carnal knowledge. Knowledge means to bring into the knowing or sexual intercourse.
To get to know
You
somebody.
black mother for unlawful carnal knowledge. That's what Reuben did and lost the birthright, the first one of Jacob. He went into Jacob's concubine and had Bilhah. But when you read the testament of Reuben in the 12th chapter, he said, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. She was just eating, because she probably was around the same age. You know, it's Dan's mama, his little brother's mama. And he said he slipped it in there and slipped it at wine. And he said in the last 2 minutes, but he said he was stricken in his loins for 7 years.
Yes, 7 years.
And that's what he taught his sons on his deathbed. When he given them their lesson, don't ever do that.
Didn't he say he could never look his father?
And an angel told Jacob, just like an angel told Noah when he woke up. But Noah caused a problem because he broke the street rules. Yeah. He got high on his own supply. Yeah. Then it said Noah began to be a husbandman and was drunken off of his product. You can't break. Where y'all think the rules come from? Got high off his own supply and fell out, just like Denzel Washington and the woman in the blue dress. Kept getting the boy drunk. Woe be to the man, Habakkuk 2:15, that give his neighbor to drink that he may uncover his neck.
He was in the next room. While Denzel Washington did his thing.
He would just sleep on the couch. They knew he was going out, feeding him the bottle. Right, and when he woke up, he said, they say some bad things about my baby. My baby wouldn't do nothing like that. He did say your baby was swiveling hips faster than Jesus. Hey, let's move on, y'all. So we got 10 minutes. I got to get out of here. Go ahead.
We got to jump down to 33.
33, go ahead. Did you finish that? What verse you stop at?
We'll go down to 11.
Yeah, go down to 11. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
If my heart have been deceived by a woman, or if I have laid wait at my neighbor's door.
Y'all see this laid wait at my neighbor's door.
Wait for her.
Deceived by a woman, so you find yourself over there, come in with 2 bottles. You know he can't take it. I know you've been trying to drink, quit drinking, but you gonna drink tonight, dog. I'm gonna put you out of your misery so I can do dirt. Yeah. Just like Habakkuk say, woe to that man. That's why it was woe became. Go ahead.
Then let my wife grind unto another.
Let her do what?
Grind unto another. And let others bow down upon her. For this is a heinous crime.
What kind of crime?
Heinous.
Y'all see that? That's why he looked at Satan. He said, that's a heinous crime you done did that. Boy, for this you are lower than anything. You are serpent now. That means you lower than a footprint. Your belly is scrubbing the ground. You that low.
Not only did he commit adultery, he laid with his brother's wife.
Yeah.
What does heinous mean?
Heinous means despicable. It's a high crime. It means it's outside of. It makes you do like this when you hear about it on the news. You know, you be like, damn. You start calling people.
Like treason or giving another government information from the U.S. They call it a heinous act, punishable by death.
It's outside the scope. It's strange behavior that's been magnified. You thought he was low, but then they took it to a new level. You know, man, when I saw him do what he did at the Soul Circus, I knew that nigga was low. Since what he did with them babies.
That was love around heinous.
That's a heinous crime.
Heinous act.
9/11.
Go ahead.
Yeah, heinous crime.
Verse 11 again. For this is a heinous crime. Yea, it is an iniquity to be punished by the judge.
By who?
The judge.
Now see, the judges will be in the last day. Judge and angels, ain't they? Yeah. Don't you know the saints shall judge the angels? Go ahead.
I'm going to skip down to 33. That was it for that.
Okay, good. Skip down to 33.
Verse 33. If I covered my transgressions as Adam by hiding my iniquity in my bosom.
Bag it up to 32. Just hit 32.
The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors to the traveler.
See, you'll never see stranger breaking the law. You'll always see strange without the ER. Strange fire, strange incense, strange wives. This means they already had a practice of worship like you talked to that came with it. A woman come to you and she say, you know I love the devil, don't you?
That's strange.
Yeah, but them hips, girl. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
To the lake with you.
There you go.
Right.
That's a strange woman because she already told you. And you have a covenant, men, on the end of your male member. That's a covenant. It's called the circumcision covenant. So when you put it into another covenant that it ain't supposed to be into, it's why it's right there. That's why a man should guard his loins and know what he's doing. Because that's without excuse. Because that's what you got hold of, your covenant. before you do the dirty deed, ain't it? And then start telling lies. I'm only going to put the covenant in. That's the worst thing you can say. Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 33 again. If I covered my transgressions as Adam, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom.
See, he covered his transgressions. He said, the woman you gave me. I didn't ask for that woman, you gave her to me. Yo, we got to be careful that when you take on a woman and then your next breath, 2 weeks later, you're saying she's got a Babylonian mindset. That Babylonian mindset was there when y'all got started. You don't learn Babylonian overnight.
So was he lusting?
It was them Babylonian tricks that pulled you in. Till you wake up the next morning and look at yourself in the mirror. I got to join somebody's church. And then she said, well, I'm pregnant.
Right.
It's between you and her.
The moral is ain't nobody making you do nothing. You doing what you want.
Doing what you want to do.
You ain't on nobody but yourself.
And y'all, this is what Job is saying right here. He told me all of the look in my eye is not looking toward that. I can look at, I don't care if a woman runs through her neck, it may be shocking. But if you go from looking at her running back like that and just talking about the law, and then in your mind you throwing the rag in the sink. It don't matter what she got on. She should run by that. That's what the Pharisees kept saying to Christ. If he knew what type of woman she was, he wouldn't even be sitting with her talking to her. He told them, a well man don't need a doctor. But the sick, I ain't worried about what they got on. I designed her. You think I'm a lust after what I designed her. It'd be like a father lusting after his daughter. That's why that ain't never been permitted. Brothers and sisters at the beginning of building a nation, but never mother on son or father on daughter. Lot daughters thought that. Ain't nobody left on earth but us. Our father ain't got no children. But what did they do?
Got them drunk.
They did have the 215, didn't they? That they may uncover their mother's nakedness, who was turned to stone. It was still her nakedness, though.
I mean, no, I've been drunk. And I mean, I've been hit.
Right.
But not to that extent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know.
Have you ever woke up and wondered where the car was? Have you ever wondered where that other shoe is at?
I wonder how come you're driving so fast.
No, I'm talking about, well, you may have just ain't been to that level. But I'm talking about when the room spin you unconscious. You know you've been had one too many. And you lay down and it starts spinning, you sit up. I promise, Lord, I'll never do it again. Try to lay back down and spin again. Throw it up. Finally, you just say, the hell with it. And let it spin you unconscious. Now, when you wake up, somebody can tell you anything. Boy, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Hey, you don't remember what happened? I didn't do that. I didn't do that. How you know?
Exactly.
Tell me how you got home.
But if he gets drunk, how can he function?
Huh?
If he gets drunk, how can he function?
What's the sin? You can drink, but what?
Don't be drunk.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what happens when you drunk. Spirits, they're called wine and spirits. The spirits take over. When you read the testament of Reuben and what happened, that supernatural thing that was going on with him and Brit-HaHadashah. Brit-HaHadashah drifted off to sleep. He getting her drunk. She drifted off. Say he woke up right after he had done the dirty deed. And an angel told. But this told you that multiple relationships, they were not in the same house. Jacob otherwise wasn't sitting there like this. Look at Reuben's dirty. Right. Finna have Brit-HaHadashah. Brit-HaHadashah, wake up. Wake up, Bill. No, I tell you, they had each separate tents. Right. He wouldn't have been able to pull that move. Nobody told Jacob, but an angel told him. Your son is a mother for unlawful partner. And why is that our favorite word? Because we done did it multiple times.
Right.
1 Corinthians 5 say the Greeks ain't even doing what Israelites is doing. For a man to have his father's wife.
Swapping wives.
I got it right here in the Testament of Reuben, chapter 1, verse 34.
What it say?
Pay no heed to the face of a woman, nor associate with another man's wife, nor meddle with the affairs of womankind. For had I not seen Brit-HaHadashah bathing in a covered place?
Look, same place, same, just like David. But she said she was in a covered place. So he made it his way to see her.
To see her, right?
I had not fallen into this great iniquity, for my mind, taking in the thought of the woman's nakedness, suffered me not to sleep until I had wrought the abominable thing.
Look, in his mind, every night thinking about having his father's wife.
He couldn't go to sleep.
In his mind, he said, I couldn't sleep, tossing and looking for the cool side of the pillow. I didn't sleep. What my whiskey? What my deceptive body? There you go. Build all a prison for you. Go ahead, what else is that?
For while Jacob our father had gone to Isaac, his father, when we were in Edar, near to Ephrath, in Bethlehem, Brit-HaHadashah became drunk and was asleep uncovered in her chamber.
What did she become?
Drunk.
Who got her drunk? He said at the beginning he got her drunk. No, come on, yeah, while he pouring, he left. Go ahead.
Having therefore gone in and beheld her nakedness, I wrought the impiety without her perceiving it.
Look at this. Look, you just asked how you would know. She didn't know. Go ahead.
And leaving her sleeping, I departed. And forthwith an angel of Yahweh revealed to my father concerning my impiety and impiety. And he became and mourned over me and touched her no more.
See, so now she has to live as a widow. Just like David concubine has to live as a widow after Absalom went into Tennessee. Because he can't touch her no more. That's why she didn't have, no more children. So with this is, he said, I walked that in piety. I did a thing. I snuck in there while she was drunk. I went and said, I'm really low down. It's like Darren Shaw. All these football players, millions of dollars, good-looking men, and you Mickey fiending women? What's wrong with these Negroes? Putting a Mickey in a drink and you sitting on millions, you wouldn't have to do that. What makes them do that? So what we're talking about is just like there's a hazy point, there will be a hazy point. If you woke up drunk the next morning and it was a she-he in the bed, this ain't gonna make you two. Because you don't know. The last thing you remember, I remember somebody put me in the bed and I woke up. That now it's morning. That space of time. That's what Judah said in the Testament of Judah. It said it was that space of time that I lost when I went into my daughter-in-law. And I gave her all my possessions. And then I went back looking for her, ready to kill her. When somebody said she had played the harlot, she got all my possessions. I didn't even know what my stuff was. I knew a harlot had it, but I didn't even know what she looked like. So he goes into wine and women and telling you got to keep a balance. The two together ain't gonna work.
Especially for Judah.